Doop. And what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of the Cripple Connection podcast, hosted by yours truly. My name is Cody Lashner. You can follow me on Twitter at CodyLac, CodyLac. And we have another fun show in store for everybody today. We're going to be talking about some state of play. Sony recently just did their press conference, so we will see what they had to say, some of the games they showed off, and Jeffrey and I are going to be reacting to it. Which brings me to my partner in crime, Jeffrey Redden. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, I'm excited for the show today.
Yeah, man. We probably could have done this live on Thursday with a little better preparation like we did before.
Right.
But things have been weird. We've been moving and shuffling some things around. So another kind of housekeeping note that I wanted to let everybody know is that this podcast is now officially a Saturday podcast. Jeffrey and I are going to be doing this every Saturday at 4 p.m. In the afternoon. So that way it gives us some time to let people come into the chat room and hang out with us, but also for some news to develop and give my man Jeffrey and I some stuff to talk about. And that's what we're going to be doing today. But Jeffrey, we have a brand new state of play to talk about. And before we get into some of the specifics, what was your initial impression? Were you impressed? Did you especially considering what we've seen from Microsoft, did you think that this was a good showing and that Sony did themselves some favors with this?
Well, I like the fact that we weren't lied to. And maybe lied to is a very strong word. We weren't misled. Okay, so we knew going into this conference that there was going to be no talk of the PlayStation 5, at least in terms of release date or anything like that. We knew going into this that it was going to be specifically third-party indie developer stuff. So there were no, unmet expectations. So I'll say that right off the bat. As far as the games go, you'll see coming up here, but we got to see some more Crash, which is the first thing they show. And I've always had faith in these guys because they've done the Spyro Reignited trilogy, but I'm more excited now simply because it really seems like they've really gone back to the originals and really put this thing together the way that it should be. I think honestly I'm most excited for this, but there are a few others sprinkled in here and there. What did you think?
Overall, I thought it was a good press conference, but I think that they didn't really show necessarily a ton. This wasn't like a big 3 or 4 hour press conference, but they did show off a few things that, in my opinion, it's like, I don't know if it's just the timing of their press conferences, but it's just like Sony is able to answer in a way that directly answers all the criticisms that we have of the Microsoft press conference. So one of the things that I have been critical on Microsoft about is that they're showing us all these games. None of them are really exclusives, and some of them are, but you're also not receiving a lot of gameplay. You're not seeing a lot of what you'll actually be doing when you play these games. And Sony, in my mind, they are doing the polar opposite of that. Now, remind me, Jeffrey, is this on PlayStation 5 or 4, Crash?
This is on PlayStation 4. It'll be out on October 2nd.
Okay, right. So this is coming out, next month.
Yep.
And so first, they gave you something to be excited about soon. So one, you're of course we're wanting to see the PlayStation 5 stuff, but we're going to be playing this game soon. And as far as Crash is concerned, and I was telling you this before the podcast, that, man, this has gone from something that looks, kind of like a fun, novel, throwback experience to it being something that will considerably be a legitimate time dump. I mean, you look at all the new things that you're going to be able to do in this. You're going to be able to play as the female character whose name escapes me right now.
Coco.
Coco. She's going to be playable throughout the entire game. You're going to be able to look at levels differently. So as you can see on the screen right now, some of them are side-on, and then you have the camera move to levels like this where it's behind the shoulder. And I love that. I love that they're trying to take the original gameplay of Crash Bandicoot and make a real real platformer in 2020 that kind of does all those same things, but add some new twists to it. And it does seem like the story is going to be more involved this time anyway. So it does. I mean, this for me basically has moved in from a fun little title to something I'm actually looking forward to. Like I was, maybe not on the same level as like a Ghost of Tsushima or a Last of Us, but I'm pumped. It seems like there's going to be enough in this game to really warrant the purchase, and I think that this was a great way for them to open up their press conference, showing a game that you're going to be playing soon, and all the new bells and whistles that it has that goes along with it.
Definitely, and they've said that each of these levels is going to be replayable twice. What they're talking about right here, I know we don't have the volume up, but they're going to have what they call inverted levels, where you'll go through a level once, and then you can go through it again with maybe a different filter on top of it, or a different, slightly different layout, or something like that.
And you can see an example right here.
So
different.
It's going to be great for completionists, or the people that were after the platinum trophy, people like that. And it also gives the game some replayability just in general, which is really cool. And it looks like they're going to have different types of this, so it's not going to be the same filter all the way through. They're going to have different things, which is really neat. You mentioned other playable characters. We're going to be able to play as Coco, like you said, but we're also going to be playing as Cortex, the bad guy, which I think might offer some different perspective as well.
And it's cool because they're offering you different ways to play it, from a character standpoint and from a level standpoint. So
definitely,
there's going to be a lot more to it. Mm-hmm. Now, is this going to be a full $60 game? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and there's going to be no microtransactions. Remember, there was talk of maybe having microtransactions.
Yeah.
There's absolutely none in here. So they've said. So we'll see.
Wow. I'm happy that people are seeing or developers rather are hearing the criticisms about microtransactions, and they're really kind of opening up and letting people know that that's not something that they're going to have to fear with their titles. It's hopeful because it means that they're listening. I don't know your opinion about this, Jeffrey. I've never been a big Hitman fan in general, and by the way, I'm not different strokes for different folks. I'm not even shitting on the game either, or saying that it did something wrong or that it wasn't good. I've just never been a big Hitman fan. But I do think that it does things well. But this is the second time I'm seeing this game, and I know right now we're seeing a VR mode of Hitman. Right. But dude, I've got to be honest. Hitman is just, it doesn't do it. Not only does it not do it for me, but this doesn't even look like a next gen game to me.
Not at all.
It really kind of looks plastic and like something I've already seen and played before.
Yeah, Hitman, graphics-wise, has never been a big thing. It's just not their forte. And as far as stealth goes, I'm more of a Metal Gear Solid guy,
Same.
or a Splinter Cell guy, which Splinter Cell has a continuity love. What the fuck? But I digress.
Especially recently. Yeah, what happened to Splinter Cell? That just fell off the face of the earth. Huh?
Well, apparently they might make a Netflix show out of it, but other than that, I haven't heard anything. Anyway, I don't know. Hitman's just never been my thing. But I think maybe playing it in VR might add some good novelty. But of course, I can't physically play VR very well, so it's not
right.
something.
It's the most the most
experience.
non-handicap friendly type of
Right.
gameplay that
So,
there is. So, that shuts us out. But listen, I can say that if I could play VR, it would be something that I would definitely play. Just to try it out. And I think that's part of the cool thing too, is that they're letting you play essentially every Hitman title.
The whole trilogy. Yeah, the whole trilogy would be nice.
So if you're a fan of Hitman and you're looking to get onto the VR train, this might be it for you.
This is Braid, right? I think.
Yeah. I don't necessarily have a whole lot to say about this, other than when I was in college doing the simulation and game development program. I went to Central Piedmont Community College, as we both did. That's where we met. That's where the magic started, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, sure did.
Between your two favorite handicap podcasters, but this was a big deal in like the first class I was ever in, because it seemed like something that we as students might be able to make. I mean, I remember this being played and talked about a lot in some of my classes about just what it did well. I mean, Braid wasn't it's been over 10 years, but Braid was a big deal at the time. This incredible, little kind of indie game that lets you rewind time and do things differently. I mean, it was pretty cool. But a thing that I do notice that there appears to be a trend of is a lot of these older games, remake them and kind of give them an extra coat of polish and introduce them to a wider audience, So if you were 8 years old, you may not have ever played Braid, but if you're 18 now, it might be something cool and fun to play. Did you have anything to say about Braid? It's fine if you don't, by the way.
I never played Braid, but I remember, like you said, Braid and Bastion were the two big games that were talked about in our game design class, and I actually played Bastion and really enjoyed it. So I got to go back and play Braid now, and now I have a way to do it. So one thing they did mention about this game, which I think is really cool, since we're talking about our game design class, is that they're going to have a running commentary, a developer commentary that talks about how they made the game and how different mechanics go. So I think for anyone like us who may be interested in that kind of stuff, the commentary might be worth listening to from a designing perspective. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And obviously the graphics and everything have been redone and all that good stuff that comes with the remaster. But I thought that was a pretty neat addition that not many games do. So I may check it out.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's I don't know what they're gonna resell this for, but yeah, it seems to me like it'll be a fun little jaunt. So let's talk about Pathless. Now, as we get to this is part of where how I juxtapose it to the Microsoft press conference. So I don't know if Pathless is going to be a exclusive for Sony. I don't know if you, and correct me if you do know something that I don't, Jeffrey.
No, I don't know either.
So, but I am assuming that this is only on PlayStation. I don't know that, so don't quote me. But it immediately goes into how Sony and Microsoft, in my opinion, are taking such complete different takes to how they get people excited about these next generation of games. Yep. So the first time we're seeing this game, The Pathless, there is no trailer at all. We are jumping right into gameplay with somebody not only telling us how we're going to play it, but how the mechanics are different from other games where you have to aim down the sight and make sure that you're precise and accurate. There's none of that. They're trying to do something different with open world. So I have a next gen title that I'm seeing gameplay of. It looks enticing. Graphically, it doesn't look very powerful, but whatever. Right. But it's an open world game that's showing me a brand new way of playing it. And I'll be damned if that isn't what a video game console company should be doing. If you want me to get excited for what you have coming down the pike in a few months, mind you, I want to see this. How am I going to enjoy playing your video games? Don't just show me a pretty trailer. Show me something substantial. And I feel like that's what we're seeing with Sony, and I'm excited for this. I believe this is a launch title. Again, I might not. We don't have the volume on, so we don't have all the details that are kind of being presented right now. But it does look fun, and I'm excited to. If this is a launch title, dope. I'm ready to play this.
Yeah, it's holiday 2020, so I would assume a launch title.
Right. So maybe some. Yeah. Probably launch.
This game it's got. God, what am I trying to say? It's feels like a mix between like Journey and like Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe throw in some Breath of the Wild a little bit.
Or Breath in the Wild almost. Yeah, it's got that. It's got the vibe. I like their take on gameplay. I like, for example, that shooting the targets makes you faster, but you don't have to be like super accurate with it, like you were saying. So you can like zoom around the map and do all this cool shit. And you have an eagle. I mean, that's cool.
I'm actually going to go back to that because I do think that it is interesting. Like that one of the things they're trying to do with this is really give you a sense of fluid movement and speed. And they're literally combining that into the core of the gameplay. I mean, you're an archer, and that's what you do, and you're going to use your archery abilities to be able to traverse the world because it gives you, like, whenever you're accurate hitting those nodes, it fills up your dash meter at the bottom there. So it's a new gameplay mechanic that is fun, and again, you learn this in the first minute or two of seeing this.
And I'm imagining speedrunners having a ball with this game for some reason. This seems like something that people would love to just blaze through.
And go ahead.
But yeah, it's like you said, it's all gameplay. I know exactly what I'm getting into. I may not know the controls, but I know exactly what I'm getting into if I pick this thing up. Which,
by the way, shout out to Brandon Kingsmore in the chat room. Our buddy Brandon joining us for the first time live. He says, I'm getting excited for what these games are showing. And another thing too, and that we'll cross back to it when we get to Godfall, but it does seem like developers and consumers alike are now understanding of the dynamic where your first few titles of a console generation, they're not necessarily going to be the most indicative of what a console is capable of. And the last game they showed, Godfall, the developer even kind of mentions that as he's talking. But it's games like this that I don't mind if the game isn't that visually impressive if you're showing me other means of what the PlayStation 5 can do. Mm-hmm. So this is a PlayStation 5 title. I'm assuming that the world is massive.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I don't know that, but if you kind of judge from recent trends, and if you look around, you're going to have an eagle that you're able to pet and kind of be friends with, and just judging from looking around, it does seem like you're going to have a lot to do, a lot of places to go. I mean, you can see how far the kind of radar effect is right there on the map as you go towards different things. I love the style. I love the visual aesthetic. Mm-hmm. I just think it looks fun. It looks fun to play. This is not a trailer that has me wondering, oh, hey, maybe this will be a good game, or I wonder what it's about. Like all of Microsoft's titles, like I'm looking forward to playing this because I saw it played. It's easier for me to imagine myself playing it and getting lost in it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, and I think the sense of speed, even though this game isn't graphically impressive, the sense of speed that they've shown, I don't know if that would be capable on a platform lower than this. because it seems like they're trying to take advantage of the faster processor here.
Right.
When it comes to the actual speed of the characters. So, yeah, as you said, launch titles for things are never at their greatest. If you think back to any uh, console in their first games, they all look pretty bad, right? Compared to what you're able to do at the end of a life cycle. So,
Right.
it's a learning process. It's growing pains. So, I mean, that's going to be true of this console just like it is for every other. So, I don't expect things to be, absolutely perfect or beautiful on a realistic scale.
Right.
Not yet.
I mean, you see them chasing a flame dinosaur here.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, dude, it's badass, and again, that sense of speed and scope, and especially if they're going to be doing different stuff with the archery combat. Like, it's not about aiming; it's more about timing, which I like. And you can even see in the level here, like when the deer thing kind of makes a fire wave on the ground, you have to use your eagle to fly above it so that way you don't get hit. Like, it looks. Now, it doesn't necessarily look like they've reinvented the wheel. I mean, they're trying to do something new in the gameplay, but it's unique enough, and it's the type of game, like I said, I can easily see myself spending a ton of time on this. Fun, kind of lighthearted jaunt. I don't know how serious the story is going to be, but yeah, you had a good comparison with the first game that you said. What was it? Not Dune. That's a story.
Journey.
Yeah, Journey. Yeah, it has that kind of feel where you don't need a lot of dialogues. You don't need a lot of anything other than just play.
Right.
Yeah, holiday 2020, PlayStation 5. You have any other anything else you wanted to say about Pathless?
No, that was pretty much it. Spelunky.
Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
I never played the first one. I'm not a fan of these roguelike games. Is what they call them. It's when you die, you start all the way over, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys. I don't really care for that. I mean, which is funny because I like Dark Souls and shit. But that's a little bit different. These are kind of just like randomly generated things, and I don't know. Not my particular cup of tea. What do you think?
Again, I never played the first one. I really have no opinions. But again, I do like. So by the way, it does. So if this game is or isn't for you, it's almost kind of irrelevant, because it's one of the things that I felt like Sony has done a good job of, and that's highlighting these indie games. Like throughout the entire time that you're watching this part, it's literally one guy who is the creator pretty much by himself, and this is like his creation, his love child, and it's pretty much him telling you about the video game. So what it does say is that a company like Sony is wanting to continue making it a point to say, hey, we're not only a platform for these big, massive AAA titles, but also these fun indie games that people will also play for a long time, that have a lot of heart and character and emotion. These games are also going to be a part of Sony's brand moving forward. So if anything, that is more reassuring than this game in and of itself. Like, if you enjoy it or you think it looks fun, great, have at it. To me, I just enjoyed that it says that they're still listening to and want to be a part of indie titles.
Exactly, and that's kind of what this whole conference is about. I know we talked about Crash at the beginning, but a lot of these are indie titles, and we knew that going into this conference. And the fact that they're willing to make an entire conference dedicated to these, and not really focus on the big guys for once, that does say something, about them. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure these companies do too. So,
yeah, it definitely cute. It's got a lot of character, a lot of heart. Again, not really a whole lot there for your hardcore gamer. Let's move to what do we have here? Oh yeah, have you ever heard of this? This is a PlayStation 4 title.
No. What was this?
I will tell you in 1 second.
Now.
So then we moved on
to
to
something?
Genshin Impact. Close enough.
Genshin Impact. That was close. Is this an RPG? Like
it's a PlayStation 4 RPG, and it does look cool. It's already got an anime booty interface. So for all
that's
for all you who enjoy that type of thing, here's your game.
Right. I know we said this already about that, but like I've Genshin Breath of the Wild feels here. I don't know, just the landscape and the way it looks. Very, and it might be the animation style too. Out of all the ones that we've seen, this is probably the one I was most confused about because I don't quite understand if it's an action RPG, if it's turn-based. I'm not entirely sure. It does look like something I might give a shot, though. I don't know. I'm always curious about the way role-playing games are. Specifically the ones I've never heard of. I'd like to go in and try them. But it looks interesting. And it's very pretty. It's very pretty.
My inner preteen is dying to play another really good JRPG.
Right.
One that isn't connected to Final Fantasy. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I felt like I got almost like Star Ocean vibes from.
Yeah, Star Ocean's a good. Yeah, that's perfect.
This is going to head and come out. And another thing about that Genshin Impact is that, it keeps in mind that Sony, with the PlayStation 4, already has this crazy install base. And you can't just abandon that, you're not going to convert every PS4 owner you have to a PlayStation 5 at the end of this year. You're just not going to do it.
Right.
So the fact that they are still releasing titles for the PlayStation 4. I mean, that's kind of what they do every cycle, but you have to. If you don't plan on upgrading to a PlayStation 5 soon, you still have a perfectly good PS4 and new games that are coming out for it. And that world did look pretty. It looked like a pretty epic JRPG. But moving on here, let's see what we've got. So again, me and Jeffrey watched this, and then we're kind of retroactively going back and watching it again and kind of reacting to it. I don't even remember what this is. It didn't even say what it is. Oh yeah. Okay, it's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up thing.
Yep. I'm getting some Tron vibes. I don't know if you know Tron. The aesthetic feels very Tron, which I like. I had trouble even seeing the name of this one even when it came up. I remember that because I was going to ask you what it was called because I had trouble seeing the letters, but it looks cool. Hey, I'm always down for a good beat 'em up. We need more of those.
Yeah, side-scrolling beat 'em ups. Yeah, those are fun. It looks epic. It's like they have robots and all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, super fun, kind of fantasy sci-fi thing. It looks like it might have an engaging story. Again, as we move forward into this era of video games, I do like that all of this crazy extra artistic shit isn't being abandoned.
Right, still coming out.
This weird kind of... Oh, Aeon. So it's close to Tron.
Aeon, that's what it was.
Yeah, close enough to Tron. Aeon. No, it looks cool. It looks like a cool side-scroller beat 'em up,
Okay, I'm gonna admit it. This one I was confused about.
Okay.
I don't understand what it is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know either.
I don't know if it's just a regular side-scrolling thing or what, but I was like, what?
Well, the level design certainly looks cool.
Yeah, it's
I just don't Okay, so
Oh,
it
there
is a
we
side
go.
scroller.
There is some fighting. Okay.
Yeah. This also
I don't
kind of
know.
had some Bastion vibes, huh?
Yeah. They're really going in on these like side-scrolling beat 'em up things, which is cool. Like I said, we need more of those. Um,
Yeah. Again,
I
it seems like they like the weird stories, man.
yeah.
The
Oh, it's
weird.
very Japanese. All this stuff is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
very Japanese.
Very, very Japanese. Which there is
And
nothing wrong with that. I love
no,
very
no,
Japanese
I
stuff.
mean that with great
Yeah.
respect, but it is. It's very like way out there in left field, which I
What
really
did that?
like.
Did the half naked anime girl swinging a katana around?
Right.
Was that the one that gave it away? Okay, so I told you this a little bit before. In my mind, this was the biggest flex of the whole press conference, just because instead, like, even right there, instead of doing some stupid trailer that they did for Microsoft, like this, they even jump into showing you gameplay, which I don't know whose decision that was, because it's like, if you're the developer of this game, you want it to be bought on both Microsoft and PlayStation console. So
Yeah.
but the fact that we saw this during a Microsoft press conference, and we're seeing the first bit of like real gameplay of it now, dude, that's just like another small little flex to me. Like, haha, fuck you, bro. Like, we're showing gameplay that you didn't or can't or whatever the hell.
Exactly. I don't know what Microsoft was thinking, because truthfully, this gameplay doesn't seem all that riveting either. And nothing against. Okay, actually,
Right,
yes,
and it doesn't seem that it was put together in a short amount. Like, there's no way that they couldn't have done this for the Xbox press conference.
Right. Also, is anybody fucking creeped out by this game? This game this game is like nightmare fuel to me for some reason. Something about bugs and eating and being snacks, and I don't know, it's fucking weird.
I don't know, man. It's I mean, yeah, okay, seeing a giant fucking piece of moth, might be a little bit too much, but sorry. One of the yeah, it's not necessarily that it's a big deal, you know, because it's you know, it's not like showing a big exclusive title for that Sony is going to be able to play better than an Xbox, but you know, I thought it was a small little jab. You know, it's like anything you can do, we can do better. But, here's more VR stuff. I know you're a Star Wars fan. So.
I am, and I've always wanted to hold a lightsaber. Like, that's always been my, you know, my nerd dream, so to speak. This has been out on PC for quite a while now. The fact that it's coming to PlayStation is great. But like I said, I can't use VR, so I mean, I may be able to, I don't really know. But I wouldn't go out and you know, buy a VR just for
and
this,
it's
as much
so,
as I love Star Wars.
It's so much. Again, if you can, and if you can do VR and that's your thing, and you have the equipment and all that stuff, have at it. You know.
Yeah.
By the way, August 25th, so this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. You know, again, if you like VR and you have it, all for it. Go ahead. But even like that's so made for VR that I don't even think watching a playthrough of that would be fun.
It's not, because I have done just that, and it doesn't give you the feeling that you would probably have physically playing it.
Right.
This confused me because Control is already out. I don't know if this is like a definitive edition or something.
This game is out?
Yeah, it's already out, as far as I know.
Wow, it shows you what I know. Yeah, again,
I think I don't think I'm crazy.
Yeah, it's an expansion.
Oh, expansion 2. Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
A lot of people apparently love that game. If you've played Psyops, the mind game conspiracy back on the PS2 with all the psychic powers and shit, that's kind of what that reminds me of. So I will have to pick that up at some point. Because I did like that kind of stuff, but what the hell? Oh, this one. I didn't really have anything to say about this.
Another game I will never play.
Right.
Yeah, we'll just move on. This looked,
This is interesting from
So by the way, that was just chess. So
yeah, it's just chess. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Which, hey, if you've never played, that might be the best way to learn. But
right.
Again, here's another thing that it's like, this doesn't wow you, but it's another one of those things that it has character.
Right.
You know, like you just play a little stick figure navigating through a world, and you kind of have to move along the walls. And again, it just seems kind of cute and quaint, and it seems like you could have a lot of fun. Like a lot of these games are really time consuming because like you think that you're just gonna sit down and play a little, a little indie title, but then you realize, oh shit, I'm like really into this right now. This seems like the kind of game that you could easily be playing for a few hours if you had that kind of time, and you would forget that you had even been playing it that long. Like, and there's stuff to see in the background.
Oh yeah, I'm not much of a puzzle guy myself, but I think it's cool from a visual perspective, like the fact that you're going on all these different signs and stuff. Like, that's really cool from a visual look. So I might just pick it up just for that.
So is this the last?
Is this
no, it's not.
No. Okay.
Now again, this is just a trailer, so no gameplay of this. Originally, I'm like, what Assassin's Creed am I about to be looking at?
Right.
But it's from a different studio, and dude, so I was telling you before on a different podcast, like, I love real, like, medieval time war, like, where people actually had to go on a battlefield and hack people up. Like, I love that style of warrior and being able to be in that era. I love that type of shit. That's why I'm excited for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I've always loved that jump back in time. But this is right up my alley too, man, because it's just you and a group of other badasses. It looks like a 4-player co-op, and my God, is it violent. I mean, if you watch the trailer here, it's crazy. A lot of blood, a lot of bones breaking, a lot of real visceral violence.
Oh yeah, like you said though, it's a trailer, so we don't really have a look at what it's going to be. Like you said, it gives me some Assassin's Creed vibes. Maybe Thief, if you've ever played Thief.
Did you remember Baldur's Gate?
Or Baldur's Gate. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it could have that kind of a vibe. Like what I'm afraid of is that you would see something like this. Like, I hope it's just a third person over the shoulder, and it did kind of show a little. Yeah, it is going to be a third person over the shoulder, but it almost seems like it could be a top down thing too, almost like a. Yeah. Oh, and there is some gameplay. They do. It's not a lot, but they do show you what it'll play like. And yeah, especially if it's over the shoulder. Yeah, that's for me. I'm into that. Did they title this?
It's called Hood.
Hood.
Hood. There was a subtitle there too, which makes me think maybe Robin Hood, because they were talking about stealing from the rich and giving to the poor or whatever. So it could be like a Robin Hood thing. I don't know.
This looks like if whoever made the Nintendo Mii's decided to make a video game for Sony.
Yeah.
Like that's essentially what this.
It feels like a watered down version of like Pokemon or Digimon, because you're collecting monsters and you're fighting other people. So mixed maybe with some Animal Crossing kind of stuff. A little too kiddie for me. I mean,
it seems like it's a turn-based RPG that's like I mean, almost it's kind of like Pokemon, which why wouldn't you just play Pokemon if that's
right?
Yep, not my speed. But let's get to this, because this was the creme de la creme of the show, in my opinion.
Yep.
Right now, it doesn't seem too deep, but it doesn't need to be, and it goes back to what I was saying with the what was the other game called? The Progress, or the one?
The Pathless.
Yeah, the Pathless. So, okay, we're not playing the audio here just because we don't want this video to get flagged for some stupid 5-second audio clip. But in this, I love the honesty of the developer, because I feel like the developer said, and I mentioned this earlier, kind of what we all know now. It's like they pretty much are still getting the hold of what it means to really take advantage of next generation technology. And, he kind of says that too. He says, it's a work in progress, what you're seeing right now. But again, this is another example of Sony doing everything that Microsoft didn't do so well. So we're seeing this for the first time. Again, it's not a trailer. Not only is it not a trailer, but during this demo, he breaks down, even down to the button prompts that you're going to be using to do different combos. They're actively showing and telling how you will play these games. And I love it, man. They went into the story. The story seems cool. You get all this different armor, and it's like a part of your people that you can use this legendary armor. So essentially, it's a customizable hack and slash that wants to reward you for doing crazy combos and moves and skill sets. And dude, that's like my favorite kind of gameplay. Like, this is right up my alley. I don't know if this is going to be a launch title, but I actually think it is. And dude, like, this is what I want, man. This is what I want. Show the people what they want. I want a game that has a big world, beautiful graphics, an incredible art style, and gameplay that I'm going to really be able to sink my teeth into and be able to switch up as I play the game. Like, this is what I want from a next generation title.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, they did mention that this is a work in progress. I would imagine a lot of these are a work in progress, but this is the first time it was mentioned outright. And he even said it was captured on a PlayStation 5 development kit. So it's not even like an actual PlayStation 5. It's just the test build that they hand out to people.
Right.
So I thought that honesty, like you said, was really nice. As far as the game goes, I'm a Diablo guy. I like Diablo. The way they talked about this game, they called it a slasher looter. And as you may or may not know, the shooter looter, or the looter shooter, has become big. Games like Destiny or shit like that, where you constantly get loot. Well, it's going to be the same in this game, except it's all melee focused.
Yeah.
And
they even said, cool. He even makes it a point to say no microtransactions.
Yeah, no microtransactions. So he does. He says that straight up. He's like, everything that's in the game on day one is there, and you're going to be able to get it. So, I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah.
They go into the different. Well, they go into two weapons. They go into the longsword and the dual blades. But I like how, even though I haven't physically picked up the controller yet, I can already see the differences between the weapons.
Right.
So I know they're all going to feel different, which is really nice. And I've always been a melee guy more than a shooter guy anyway. So to have a deep combat system and into a game like this, like I said, kind of reminds me of some of the classes that you would play in Diablo that would get up in your face and get the best loot and stuff like that. I'm down for this. When they originally talked about this back in March, I wasn't too excited about this game. I thought, it's going to be another throwaway like arena thing or something, because they didn't really say what it was going to be. But now I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to pick this up. I might actually have a lot of fun with this.
It looks fluid. So for the same reasons that I used to love playing Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden and games like that, it's God of War even. That's the same type of. I'm scratching the same type of itch in playing something like this, and being able to have a varied play style, and you can level up different weapons and abilities and traits. Like, it's giving you that customizable, kick-ass experience that I just, I'm into that. I like that. So as you can see, the dual blades have a thing called inner focus that allows you to, use that brief period of time to do a lot of extra damage. I love fluidity. Seeing something move and having me feel like I just managed to pull off this crazy cool combo. Not that it was just a result of me mashing a button, but like that I actually executed a badass combo. Like, that's rewarding gameplay. And it seems to me, based off of what's being shown and what was said, that that's ultimately the experience that they're really trying to give players.
Yep. And I'm always a sucker for a high fantasy world. So if the lore, I mean, I know that's not the main focus of these kind of games, but if the lore is there and like I feel like I'm in that world, I'm down for it. So
yeah, but use your shield too. So
yeah, you're able to. I mean, it looks like you're going to be able to customize like, what weapons you have, and you're going to be able to level them up and, do all the good stuff that we always like in these kind of games.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm excited.
And it's also similar to, Ghost of Tsushima in the sense that the gameplay is supposed to be fast, fluid, action-packed, and, it's based off of parries, too. Like, whenever you're able to deflect an opponent and then attack them, I always found that really nice, too. And the level design looks incredible. Like, they make it a point to say it's a high fantasy world. So it's like this incredibly powerful suits of armor and like this incredible, almost like a mythical landscape. It looks cool. It looks like it plays cool. Again, it's the kind of shit that I'm sold on. And if this is, if this is the kind of games that I can look forward to playing relatively soon on PlayStation, again, you hate to judge everything based off of the competition, but that's what today is. Like, why would you buy one console over the other? And just based on the things the past few months that we have seen from Sony, and the how they choose to show their games, what they want to highlight and show you, it lets me know that they have mastered what they do, in my opinion. They know what gets people excited. They know what people want to see from a game. The only thing that has me nervous, Jeffrey, is that we still do not have a price for the PlayStation 5. And we're a few months out. We are a few months out from this being available. And neither Xbox or PlayStation have released how much you're going to be paying for any of this.
I think it's a war of attrition at this point. They're waiting for each other to balk under the pressure and just say what it is. But like I said, we knew going into this conference that we wouldn't get any details on the PS5. So I'm not disappointed that we didn't see anything now. I am disappointed that we haven't seen anything, period. But I don't know, man. I have hope, and I think both of them are just waiting it out. The one thing I will say is if this is the third-party smaller stuff, and they're already, in my mind, showing more than Xbox did when they were having some of their heavy hitters like Halo and shit, if I'm excited more for this third-party stuff, it makes me wonder what the first-party Sony stuff is going to be.
Yeah,
because
man.
If I'm excited for the smaller stuff, all I can say is damn.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to show something of God of War 5.
Right. I mean, I know that's going to be down the pipeline. That's not going to be a launch title.
Right, well, I know it's not going to be a launch title, but damn, if they were able to show a trailer for God of War between now and the release of this, man, talk about the hype and the buzz that you would get, because they've been working on it forever, like ever since 4 ceased production. What, 3 or 4 years now? Like, they have to be hard at work on whatever. Next.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm if this is the future of smaller gaming, I could only imagine what the big guys have in store. So, I don't really know what else to say other than I'm really excited. I don't want I want next year to come now.
And what were you saying too about the PlayStation controller thing? So, do you want? Yeah, go ahead and explain it for.
So, let's say you're playing now. This is only specifically for the backwards compatibility stuff. But let's say you're playing a PlayStation 4 game on your PS5. You can use the PlayStation 4 controller. If you. So for example, let's say this console's like $500 or whatever, and you don't have the money to go up and buy a brand new game and all this shit that comes with it. If you want to play your own games using your PS4 controller, you can do that. Also, I learned that Sony has filed a patent. Get this, they have filed a patent for, how like now you can stream games like from your PlayStation or whatever. Well, now apparently what's going to be able to happen is you're going to be able to save parts of your game and share that with other people, and they are going to be able to play that specific portion of the game. So, like, even if you don't own the game, like, that's really weird. Like, how would that work? But I don't know. That's kind of cool. So, like, say you're playing a game where you could, go in guns blazing like Watch Dogs or use stealth, and let's say you went through the mission and you went guns blazing. Well, then a second person could hop on the internet, boot up that specific portion you have saved, and go in the other way, and then you would be able to see that.
That is pretty cool. It's definitely it's a novel idea, and I think
I don't know how much it'll be used, but it's a cool idea.
And I think part of it is being able to share things now. That was such an important part of the PlayStation 4, and I think that they definitely want the PlayStation 5 to continue to be able to share these crazy moments and now let your friends and family be a part of them and do things different. Like, you might be able to, I dare you to beat it. Like, I went through this level or whatever at a certain time, and then put it out there and be like, okay, beat it. And then just see who on your friends list, if at all, could actually beat your time and do what you did better. That is really cool. The backward compatible control things is kind of weird to me because it's basically like, it is, but it isn't at the same time, right? So you're going to be able to use your PlayStation 4 to be able to work on and manipulate the user interface of the PlayStation 5, but you're not going to be able to play PlayStation 5 games because there are weird technologies in the control. So again, this instead of it being a DualShock controller, the new PlayStation 5 controller is called DualSense. If a lot of games are going to be using and depending on that, but then you're not going to be able to use it. I mean, I commend them for at least trying to make old equipment relevant for their new console systems, but ultimately they're not. You're not going to be able to play games.
It's not a big deal.
Like if you're using a PlayStation for the apps or for Netflix, YouTube, and all that shit, go ahead and use your old controller, but you can use your PlayStation 4 for all that, so why even get a PS5?
Right, and the other thing is, like, doesn't the PS5 come with a controller? So why would you not
it at least
use the controller it's bundled with? I don't know.
Yeah, it at least comes with one. Everyone's going to try and chip in and buy the a second one. That's normally what most people do, whenever console comes out. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good press conference. Like I said, when you're having to compare the competition, I just think that there's this trend now where Microsoft kind of drops the ball and fumbles, and then Sony just kind of picks it up and improves upon their mistakes. Like they're listening to the criticism and the feedback that fans are giving Microsoft, and they're incorporating that into how they show off things. And yeah, there is a bit of a stalemate going on between the two as far as who releases the price point of these new consoles first. But I maintain what I said either a stream or two ago. If I'm Sony, especially after this one, and seeing what is going to be available at the launch of the console, I'm fine releasing my price first. I'm fine if it's more expensive than what the Xbox is going to be, because even though the console, from a technical perspective, isn't quite as powerful, it doesn't matter. You're already showing me the lineup that you have, the history, the dedication that you have to making incredible video games. If I'm Sony, just release the price, man. Release the price for both versions of the console, and who cares if you're the more expensive conference. At this point, I think they have shown enough material and gameplay to justify being a more expensive console. And then, hey, maybe it turns out that they're just trying to be cheaper than the other one, or again, it does seem like they're both trying to wait each other out. But if I'm Sony, I just choose what you want. Pick the most reasonable number for you to be able to make your return on investment and put it out there and just let the market decide.
Definitely. If you look at the ratio on YouTube for this particular conference, though, it's about half and half. So I don't know if everybody was quite as impressed as we were, because the numbers say a little bit differently. But I think it's because people were a little disappointed that we didn't hear anything about the PS5 anyway, kind of like us. But I don't hold it against the conference itself, because I knew going in that wasn't going to be a thing. But yeah, they need to hurry up and do these prices now. Like, it's August now. I mean, like, come on, people are already starting to. Yeah. I'm already starting to think down the line for like Christmas. What I need to get people and shit. So like, I know that might be a little early, but
people are already having to allocate their funds and pick and choosing what. Yeah, people are gonna want to know. And plus, pre-orders would be able to go live as soon as you release the price point too.
Right.
So, if you're Sony, wouldn't you just want that money now? It's like an infusion of capital. People are going to start to pre-order it. So, that's why I would just do it. And by the way, there were parts. I feel for the most part, most of the stuff that we saw in that press conference is kind of throwaway stuff I'll never play.
Yeah,
I'll never play a lot of the 2D ones. I'm not gonna play Hitman or any of the VR stuff. So I can understand why people would say that there wasn't a lot of meat on the bone, but I also feel like there didn't need to be.
Right.
And maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I'm being too biased or whatever. Maybe I'm, letting my inner fanboy show. But again, it's not. I'd rate this press conference a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's about where I was at.
And even if you want to go 6, I don't care. It wasn't, they didn't show a whole lot of new titles for the PS5. There weren't a whole lot of heavy hitters, but I think you made a good point, Jeff, and it's that if this is the third-party stuff, wait until we see what Sony really has cooking coming down the line.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the thing. We saw a lot of the Xbox first-party stuff, and I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with Halo and, all the other stuff. So, the fact that I was impressed at all with these tells me something. I mean, like I said, I don't think these are anything that I'm going to, go out and get on day one. But, some of them piqued my interest, which is enough. And, of course, Crash. But that's a PS4 thing. But still,
Crash and Pathless were fun. Yeah. I enjoyed them. Godfall was the piece de resistance for this press conference. I enjoyed, seeing that commitment to the weirder, more kind of, artistically inclined video games. I did like that stuff. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect press conference. I'm not saying that it was, but I did see enough. Like so again, part of it, and we kind of hit on this a little bit throughout our show today, but so this was a part of Sony's way of saying, look how many different mouths we intend to feed.
Right.
There are games coming for the PlayStation 4. There are games coming for the PlayStation 5. There are remade games from yesteryear that are getting a new coat of polish and being reintroduced to people. There's that commitment to indie games that I like and that I still see. So the whole point of the press conference was not to drop these bombshells about these new games coming, but it's like a commitment to quality, to showing you what kind of experiences you're going to be having while playing PlayStation. So they're speaking about their brand more than they are anything about PlayStation 5, which is why there weren't a ton of titles either. And Aeon looked cool too. It's like
Aeon's neat.
Yeah. So overall, I felt Sony did what they needed to do, and that was just show enough and show gameplay. Show people what your games are going to look like and what they're going to play like and sound like. I want to be able to imagine myself experiencing these titles, and ultimately I feel that they did a good job in doing just that. So
yeah, that's exactly it. Just show games. Like, not trailers, show games. It's that simple. And that's something that Sony did that Microsoft just didn't do. So, in the end, they just went on principle, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, man. So, Jeffrey, we've gone over an hour again, my friend. We've done it. Another one is in the books. As always, man, we keep on chugging along. We're almost to 20 episodes. And and 2 more. All right. It seems like just the other day I was saying, hey, let's do a podcast.
I know, right?
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, we're almost almost 20 into this, and we're still chugging along. But why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners where they can find and get a hold of Jeffrey Redman?
So you can find me on Twitter. I'm at JeffroRed. So at JEFFRORED.
Awesome. As always, my name is Cody Lashner. You can find me on Twitter at CODYLAC. You can ask me any number of questions you might have about video games, sports, politics, do whatever, man. I'll fucking shoot the shit on it about anything at CODYLAC on Twitter. And every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We had to take a Tuesday off, this most recent Tuesday, but next Tuesday we're going to be back to doing the C3 Carolina Cat Chronicles show every Tuesday night at 9. And until then, peace and love.
Peace, guys.